Very nice to meet with you, Murray Grey enthusiasts there, John and Nigel, telling us all about the Snowy Mountains breed and the Riverland breed that is now making waves in the UAE and in Africa. Fantastic to have them here. We're going to turn our attention now to the big topic of Beef 2024. Produce more, emit less. We asked our panellist who's just joined us on the program here about the insurmountable challenge that Australians seem to be facing, which is can they handle those two responsibilities in tandem? I'm joined by CommBank's Associate Director for Commodities Trade and Carbon, Lachlan Finch. Why should Aussie producers take up the challenge to both emit more and produce less?
Well, first off, thank you so much for having me on Beef Week TV. This is actually my first Beef Week, can you imagine? And it is astounding. It's very, very good. Exceeded expectations. But to your question, so why tackle the complex issue of decarbonisation on top of what we already know is complex, which is just remaining economically viable, remaining profitable? And I'll throw it back to essentially the real experts, which are our clients and what we hear from them and what we're hearing at Beef Week this week, which is one phrase, and that's supply chains. Supply chains are talking to primary producers of all stripes, particularly in beef, saying, hey, we want a carbon neutral product. Or if they're not specifically saying we want carbon neutral now, they're saying, hey, this is coming down range. We need this at some point. Do you have a plan? Do you have a glide path? This is something that you should be thinking about. So when we talk to our clients, it's a two-way street. It's a two-way flow of information, but we say if it's not something that you're acting on now, it's definitely something that should be at least on your mind. And
as a banker, what impact do emissions have on banking relationships?
Yeah, it's such a good question, and we get this all the time. Look, straight out of the gate, we're not going to be debanking anyone anytime soon if they're not as ambitious on an emissions sort of profile as others, particularly in ags and specifically for beef, because we know there are inherent challenges with beef in the industry, but also inherent opportunities as well. So look, what we say is we're not going to devalue the value of your land, we're not going to change your interest rate necessarily, we're not going to be withdrawing funds. We are, and it's always been in our DNA, we are a bank that cares about our clients and we are supporting our clients' ambitions, regardless of what that might be. So if we have two peer clients, one of them comes to us and says, we want to be really ambitious in this space. We've already done the homework, we've done the research, we want to decarbonise this way, that way, we've got the capital requirement ready to go, can you help us with cash flow? Then absolutely, we're going to support them in that ambition. But if we have another peer client that looks very similar, that says, actually, we're resting on our laurels because we want to do more research, we want to do our homework more, we want to wait and see, test and adjust, then of course we're going to be there to continue to support them as well. So take-home message is, no, we're not debanking anyone anytime soon, we're not going to withdraw funds or hike up those interest rates. We are a client-centric bank, and whatever your ambitions are, we are here to support them.
We had the brilliant Natasha Greenwood on from your bank the other day, looking after agribusiness there, and she told us about what you are actually doing in that space, the likes of partnering with a cool ag tech, Ruminati, so that your customers can just go and do some baseline testing.
Yeah, so we're actually doing a lot in the space. We have a bunch of bespoke financial products, actually. So one of them that I'm sure Natasha touched on as well is called the Green Loan, where if you want to invest in sustainable activities on farm, environmental management, those sorts of things, then we're supporting that. We're lending for those situations. We've got this very exciting partnership, which is sort of our flagship announcement at Beef Week 2024, which is a partnership with Ruminati to allow people to get cracking with a baseline. And really on-farm activities, that they fall into two buckets. You can either reduce your inputs on farm that are emissions intensive, or you can do work that takes more carbon out of the atmosphere. Maybe that's improving carbon in your soils, maybe that's planting more trees, you might even get cracking with a carbon project, or you can just do it on farm. And people like Ruminati just help you get that baseline, help you collect the information to get cracking to begin with, just so you know where you lie. So that's a very exciting partnership we're very, very thrilled to be announcing here at Beef Week 2024.
I love the pragmatism, and I think it's great to see the responsibility coming from different ends of the supply chain. Particularly, you've got your own Scope 3 responsibilities, but you're working with producers hand in hand. Lachlan Finch, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
Well, Ali Felton